The Honourable Kerrie Symmonds, Minister of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship. His Excellency Ambassador Chad Blackman, Permanent Representative to the United Nations and other international organizations. Her Excellency Rebeca Grynspan, Secretary-General, UNCTAD. Representatives of UNCTAD. Ms. Teresa Marshall, National Coordinator, UNCTAD. Other members of staff of the National Secretariat. Representatives from the Division of Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, media personnel, good afternoon. I'm Janice Perryman, Administrative Officer in the Division of Small Business and Entrepreneurship. We are here to witness the signing of a contract between the Government of Barbados, represented by the Ministry of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, known as UNCTAD. We're here to implement and operationalize an electronic single window. The introduction of an electronic single window will facilitate the ease of doing business for all major players, as well as to increase the efficiency in the movement of legitimate goods across borders. The electronic single window will allow for the reduction of clearance times, streamlining operations, harmonizing data, and reducing associated costs. UNCTAD was selected as a contractor to implement the electronic single window. This project has a time frame of 30 months. To ensure that all targets are achieved, a unit will be fully functional by November 1st, 2021. I now wish to invite the Secretary-General of UNCTAD, Her Excellency Rebeca Grynspan, to deliver brief remarks.
Thank you very much, dear Minister, dear Ambassador, dear friends. UNCTAD is really proud to support Barbados in taking advantage of trade and increased competitiveness on its private sector. At the same time, we aim to increase revenues and be able to improve the production chain and the supply chain of the country. UNCTAD is convinced that setting up an electronic single window for trade is critical for being able to take advantage of the synergies, the various mandates and aspirations of all the public agencies that take part on this process, and help the private partners involved in Barbados trade. Let me tell you, Minister, that in my political career in my country, this was also an objective that we had. And we know it's not a very easy one. I understand that in this single window, 28 agencies of Barbados from the public sector will take place. So imagine a private sector entrepreneur that has to go through 28 agencies to be able to complete one process. And so no doubt this will help not only the private sector at large, but also very small and medium entrepreneurs that will find it much easier to understand what is the process and how they can get included in the supply chain and in the export activities of the country. Now, you will think, and what is doing UNCTAD with such a project? Do you do that? Yes, we do that a lot. In fact, ASICUDA, that is this program, has helped 100 countries in the world to have a platform for customs and for customs income in the countries. And the single window is a module of this platform of ASICUDA. And we have helped Barbados with ASICUDA in the past, and now this is a special project to have this single window for trade together with the Minister of Energy, Small Businesses, Entrepreneurship in the Government of Barbados. So, Minister, it's really an honor for us to be able to sign this project with you today. And we understand the importance that this has. And since what we produce is public goods. And we do it at a cost, not at an utility rate. Yes? This is very important. Remember, in Asikuda, we use open source platforms. We give the product to the government, and you will be able to grow on it because we will train the people in the public sector. This project will stay here in Barbados. It's not ours, it's yours. So thank you so much for your confidence in our capacity to do this. Believe me, we will take this with the seriousness that it deserves to help Barbados like we have helped other countries. And maybe second benefit of it, dear Minister, is that you will be part of a network of people that have done this, that have the capacity, that have the knowledge in other countries. You will be able to exchange with others their experience, and I hope that very soon Barbados will be able also to help other countries in doing what you are doing now. This is really South-South cooperation. And today in the morning, we were talking about that is this new kind of cooperation, that is a cooperation that is much more horizontal, where we all learn from each other. And I think that Asikuda brings all those externalities, all those benefits to the table. So thank you very much, and all the best, and a lot of success in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary General. I now invite the Minister of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, the Honourable Kerrie Symmonds, to deliver brief remarks. Minister.
Secretary Grynspan, Ambassador Blackman, I don't wish to say Permanent Secretary, Teresa Marshall, National Coordinator, UNCTAD 15. You have to forgive me because I cut my teeth by calling her Permanent Secretary. It stays with me all the time. Ladies and gentlemen all, this is a pleasure for me. This is a really momentous opportunity for us in Barbados. Secretary General, I want to begin by thanking you from the bottom of my heart for your spirit of partnership and cooperation in this very developmental exercise. I want to say at some degree of I suppose, finite development of this single window exercise, that we in Barbados feel that this is critical for our ease of doing business interests. This is critical for our competitiveness. This is critical for our business facilitation efforts. The members of the press here know that for many, many years, we have been talking about the ease of doing business in Barbados. I invite you not to reflect only about yourselves as members of the media, but think of yourselves as members of the wider community, and you know what it is that we have gone through. If you want to import vehicles into the country, can be a very burdensome process. For those people who are in business and bringing in clothing and stuff like that for sale, burdensome process. For those people who are involved in exporting, they make their product here, but then they still have to go from department to department to department in order to make sure that all of the regulatory requirements, all of the administrative requirements are met. That is both on the import stage and at the export stage. And General Secretary Grynspan is quite right. We have, at this juncture, identified 28 government departments that have to be brought into one single window space. And if you think it through, then you understand the real challenge that we've had in Barbados. The challenge has been that sometimes government departments that are not even automatically considered had to be involved, depending on what the nature of the importation or exportation was. That has varied from as wide as the Barbados Police Force and the Barbados Defense Force to the Ministry of Commerce, the Barbados Industrial Development Corporation, the Drug Service, the Plant Protection, Plant Quarantine, those areas of the Ministry of Agriculture that deal with sanitary and phytosanitary protection issues. You name it, 28 of them. And it becomes a burden for those people who are involved in either import or export. And effectively what we're now doing is having one platform, which will be a seamless place, one stop for the business person, whether micro, medium, or large. That one stop allows for all of those government departments to interface with each other online in real time, as opposed to the way in which we did everything else, which was have a set of forms that you had to fill out, and then you truck those forms to another government department, and you go through that exercise with that government department again, and you truck them somewhere else, and you go through the same exercise. And the questionnaires sometimes are almost identical to the ones you had before, but you had to give everybody a fresh set of questionnaires to be filled out, and it goes on and nauseatingly on. This platform has not been a difficult thing to conceive. What has bedeviled us as a country has been I think at first of all, let me be frank with you, the administrative will to get to this point. And then the second aspect of it, obviously, is that there are some legal and technological requirements that have to be put in place. And the mere fact that it is a 30-month undertaking indicates that there is some substance to the nature of the challenges, which are technical. But the key thing was to have had the administrative will to get here. I remember well, Secretary-General, that I would have been in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade under the leadership of at that time, P.S. Marshall. I think it would have been in about 2004, when the UN Center for Trade Development would have mooted this idea of an electronic single window. And the idea then was that you would have this space where you would have one entry, and you would even be able then to deal with matters relating to payment electronically, and the processing of whatever had to be done comes right back to your computer as the business person. And it was really ideally about facilitating trade in that very finite way. We have almost 20 years later come to that point. And that is the real success story here, that a challenge which has bedeviled Barbados now for the better part of a decade and a half, has now been finally wrestled to the ground. I am extremely pleased, the Secretary-General, to be Minister at this point. I'm very pleased that we are able to do it at a time when we're in the middle of an UNCTAD conference. And I take great pleasure in that as well. But I do believe that it allows for us to do our business of government a lot more efficiently. It allows for us to treat private enterprise a lot more efficiently and in a way that ensures competitiveness. Time is money. And when we speak glibly about it will only take a few weeks, or it might even take a month or so, the reality is that for the person who has money tied up in the investment, they are feeling the pain in their pockets, and that is now something that we're being able to put behind us and should have been able to do for some time. It is also going to be tied into the Asikuda system and the Bridgetown Port community structure, so that again, this interface is seamless and detailed in nature. It is really a one-stop shop. Put simply, a one-stop shop for the consumer and the investor. And I think that that is really an important step in the right direction. So without much more ado, Secretary-General, I want to thank you. I want to thank you not only in your personal capacity, but as a representative of UNCTAD, because UNCTAD has done tremendous work to assist us. And you're quite right. We now become a country in this neck of the woods, in this region, that can now share the experience with others. And that is important. One of the successes of the Asian community, and we have to be frank with ourselves, we don't always recognize that we are competing with Singapore, and we are competing with South Korea, and we are competing with Hong Kong, and all those places that got this right since 2010 or 2012. And so therefore, we are now in a position where we are about to join the group that is doing a best practice. A best practice, ladies and gentlemen, that has been defined for us by UNCTAD and is now part of an international trade agreement as to what you should be aspiring towards. So Secretary-General, again, I think that UNCTAD has done tremendous work. I am pleased that they are going to be our consultant, and it is a process that I think will take us much of the way we needed to go to solve the question, the vexing question in Barbados of business facilitation in this country, and obviously enhancing our competitiveness. Thank you very much.
You may applaud if you wish to. Thank you so much, Minister. We will now have the signing of the contract document, and that is going to be photographed. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance here this afternoon. An official photograph is going to be taken.
Do you want a picture with the agreement?
Huh?
Do you want a
Yes,
picture
I
with
think
the
that maybe we can show it. What do you think? So they will see that everything is virtual.